The world was never meant to be a stage for gods and demons, yet history has always shown that humanity's soil is where they choose to wrestle. Black Adam's name has long been etched in blood and stone, a conqueror who cloaked his empire with the justification of justice, a tyrant whose hand fell heavy on those who opposed him. For millennia he had worn the mantle of Shazam's power, divine lightning coursing through his body, the weight of 6 gods shaping his will into iron. To his people, he was salvation incarnate, protector, liberator, avenger. To the world beyond, he was despot, a man who decided unilaterally what justice meant. His philosophy was simple, absolute. Might defines righteousness. If his power could establish peace, then his power was justice. And in this reasoning, Adam never flinched, never doubted. His sins to him were not sins at all, but necessities, written in a ledger where only victory absolved. But there was another force in the universe, older, colder, less forgiving. Ghost Rider, the spirit of vengeance, did not care for thrones, empires, or excuses. Johnny Blaze, the man beneath the skull of flame, was but the vessel. The rider was not human, not even simply demonic. It was Zarathos, a spirit anointed by the highest authority to measure sin against eternity. Where Adam saw justice as a tool wielded by the strong, Ghost Rider saw justice as immutable law, unyielding, impartial, merciless. It was not a crown to wear or a blade to swing, but a fire that burned away lies until nothing remained but truth and guilt. Ghost Rider's existence was not about protecting people, nor about ruling them, but about enforcing the sacred, unbearable weight of every soul's actions. When their paths were set to collide, it was not through accident, but inevitability. Black Adam's empire had begun stretching beyond its borders, once again. The world, fractured by powers both human and superhuman, saw Adam's presence as both promise and threat. He spoke of order, stability, and destiny. Yet his methods were brutal, rivals silenced, nations subjugated, those who resisted reduced to ash. In Kahndaq, his people adored him as savior. Outside its walls, whispers called him tyrant. But what drew Ghost Rider's burning gaze was not conquest alone, it was the ledger of Adam's soul. For every child's wail drowned in the clash of Adam's armies, for every family broken under his unyielding hand, the weight mounted. The rider did not come to negotiate. He came to judge. The philosophical tension was stark. Adam represented the justification of might. To him, morality was malleable, a tool sharpened by the victor. He did not kneel before higher cosmic laws because he believed himself chosen. The gods themselves had empowered him. To Adam, Ghost Rider was merely another enforcer, another challenger, one who, despite his terrifying visage, was bound to fail before the strength of a demigod. But Ghost Rider was not a challenger. He was not even an opponent. He was executioner, and in his judgment there were no exceptions. The confrontation began not with blows, but with words. Adam descended from his throne of black stone, lightning crackling around his form, eyes burning with defiance. You come to Kahndaq as though it were yours to touch. Who are you to judge me? I am Teth Adam, chosen by gods, bearer of eternity's fire. My justice is written in power. The world bends because I will it to. My people live because I protect them. Tell me, skull-faced demon, what gives you authority over me? And Ghost Rider's voice, hollow, layered with the echoes of Zarathos, cut through the night like chains dragged on stone. I am not here to rule. I am not here to protect. I am not here to care for your empire, your throne, or your pride. I am vengeance. I am the mirror you avoid. The screams of the innocent that echo through eternity are louder than your excuses. You call conquest justice. You call cruelty necessity. But your soul bleeds with every life you've broken, every truth you've crushed beneath your arrogance. I am not authority. I am the fire that shows you the truth you fear. Adam's eyes narrowed, the pride of a king unshaken. Truth is written by victors. My truth is survival. The rider's fire will not bend me, for I have no regret. My hands may be stained with blood, but it is the blood of those who would enslave my people. If that is sin, then I accept it. If your so-called judgment comes, I will strike it down as I have struck down gods before. Here lay the philosophical fracture. Could a man who justified every act in the name of justice truly be judged? If Adam believed himself innocent because he acted for his people, was guilt even a weight he carried? Ghost Rider did not argue further, for his role was not debate but demonstration, yet the weight of what was to come lingered. This battle would not be measured in lightning or flame alone, but in the very fabric of morality. Was justice defined by strength as Adam believed, or was it defined by accountability, a weight no power could erase? The rider's silence was the only answer, his skull igniting into a fire that lit the horizon. And so the stage was set. Black Adam, the eternal conqueror, who justified tyranny as order, who bore the strength of gods and the will of a king, stood unyielding. And Ghost Rider, spirit of vengeance, embodiment of divine retribution, prepared to burn away the illusions of power. The battle was no longer merely inevitable, it was necessary. The skies split open as Black Adam ascended, his body glowing with the fury of storms, lightning cascading across his form like serpents of judgment. The air vibrated with his power, every heartbeat a thunderclap. Ghost Rider mounted his Hellfire motorcycle, chains rattling with a sound that was both metallic and spiritual, the sound of souls in torment. The ground cracked beneath him as he drove forward, flame trailing across sand and stone until he stopped beneath Adam's gaze. Neither moved at first, two eternal forces staring into each other, the silence itself heavier than battle. Then, like the breaking of a dam, Adam struck. He moved with speed faster than mortal eyes could follow, a living thunderbolt crashing down toward Ghost Rider. The strike shattered the earth, a crater erupting beneath the impact. Yet Ghost Rider did not fall. Flames surged from his body, engulfing the explosion, chains snapping forward like serpents of hell. They wrapped around Adam's arm, burning against skin forged by gods. Adam grimaced but tore free, the chains melting against his power. He laughed, a sound as sharp as thunder. "Your fire burns bright, demon, but it is only fire. I am lightning, I am eternity." He struck again, fists slamming into Ghost Rider's form, sending the spirit crashing through stone and steel. Buildings collapsed, dust rose, the world shuddered beneath Adam's might. But the rider only rose again, skull still burning, body reforming where it had been broken. No wound lasted, no blow silenced. Adam's eyes narrowed. "You are resilient, but even eternity bends before power." Ghost Rider's voice emerged from the flames. "Your power means nothing. You cannot kill vengeance. You cannot strike down guilt." And then he unleashed the Hellfire. It poured from his skull in a torrent, not heat but judgment, flames that burned Adam's essence instead of his flesh. Adam staggered, his body resisting but his soul recoiling. For the first time in centuries, he felt something beyond pain. It was memory. Every village crushed beneath his rule, every rival torn apart, every plea silenced. The fire forced him to face what he had dismissed. His roar shook the earth, defiance clawing at his being. "No, I have no regret. I did what was necessary." He surged forward, lightning exploding, striking Ghost Rider with power enough to level mountains. But even as the rider was cast aside, his skull burned brighter, and then came the Penance Stare. Chains lashed forward, binding Adam in an instant, locking his gaze with the rider's hollow sockets. The fire in those eyes was not flame but reflection, and Adam found himself trapped. He saw his deeds, not as he justified them, but as his victims felt them. The cries of innocence, the terror of the oppressed, the despair of those silenced, all of it surged into him, unfiltered, undeniable. Adam roared, struggling against it, lightning tearing the sky apart, his fists breaking chains, yet never breaking the gaze. His power was infinite, but power could not erase truth. For every life he had ended, the rider showed him a mirror, and the weight was unbearable. His lightning dimmed, his body shuddered, his voice once unshaken, cracked with something he had buried for centuries, remorse. "No, I did what I had to. They needed me. I... His words faltered as the truth consumed him. The spirit of vengeance did not falter. The stare did not release. It poured into Adam until the demigod who had never bent fell to his knees. His fists struck the earth, not in defiance but in collapse. The storm faded, the lightning ceased, and silence swallowed the battlefield. Ghost Rider stood above him, flames unyielding, chains rattling softly. His voice, final, thundered through Adam's soul. Justice is not power, justice is truth, and truth burns. Adam bowed his head, defeated not by strength but by the unbearable weight of his own actions. Ghost Rider turned away, his task complete, his fire dimming as the rider receded into night. And thus it was established, in a clash of gods and spirits, strength shattered against truth, and Black Adam, the immortal king, was undone by the one thing even eternity could not conquer, his own soul.